Welcome back everyone to Mona's Take. I am your host monadrose and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Big Brother live feeds the last 24 hours. It's been hit or miss, but there have been a lot of conversations, mostly after I went to bed last night, or I should say this morning. So we'll get right into it. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. Can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first conversation that we see is between Taylor and Monty. And Taylor talks to Monty about putting Turner on the block next week and taking that shot. And Monty said he's indifferent. He said, I know the shot needs to be taken. And say we put him on the block and he takes himself off. Then he's going to be gunning for us. But if you're going to put him up next to Alyssa so that if he does win the veto, he can't take Alyssa down. He has to only take himself down. So they're doing him and Alyssa the same way they're doing Michael and Brittany. Put them both on the block. That way, if the veto's won, only one of them comes down, the other one goes home. And Monty said that he thinks that they should be getting out Alyssa first because she's skating by week after week, hasn't done anything, and that she's going to get dragged along to the end. She has all the jury votes. We've talked about that. Everybody in the house is talking about that. So that's his concern. Monty said, if I do put Turner up and he doesn't go home, I'm next. He says he would rather put up Alyssa and use Brittany as a pawn because she hasn't been on the block on eviction night yet. So he's trying to feel Taylor out about getting Brittany and Alyssa up on the block. Keeping the guys off the block. They have the voting power to send out whoever they want to send out. So yet again, Monty is trying to manipulate Taylor into making his moves. We've seen a lot of that this year. Everybody wants to manipulate Taylor into playing their game, but they want to get mad at Taylor for playing hers. Monty goes upstairs and fills Michael in on his conversation with Taylor and says Taylor brought up the girls, so it's not a big thing. It's nothing that he's taken seriously, because if she was in a girls' alliance with Brittany and Alyssa, she wouldn't have brought it up to him. So he doesn't think she's taking it seriously. Monty also brings up his concerns that Brittany doesn't want to sit down with the four of them. That when he mentioned going and getting Michael outside yesterday and the four of them sitting down, Brittany didn't want to talk. She said, well, I just got through with meditation and Michael's laying down and we'll do it later. So Brittany didn't want to get in a room with all four of them. Monty says, also Taylor wants Turner to go home next week. So if we have our gentleman's agreement, so if we're not on the block at the same time, we can save Turner. So they're not calling it an alliance, they're calling it a gentleman's agreement. That Michael and Monty and Turner said that they would keep each other safe and that that's their best shot to get to the end. So he's not calling it an alliance, he's calling it a gentleman's agreement. I told you there was lack of energy in making that yesterday. Michael, Brittany, and Taylor talk. Taylor asks, so who's the target for next week? And Michael says Turner or Alyssa. He could be persuaded either way. But, Turner has the most comp wins out of those two. Taylor wonders who Alyssa would put up, and Brittany says she would go after Monty. 100% she'd go after Monty. And Taylor said, so we don't let her win HOH next week. Taylor's all in for this final four of Taylor, Brittany, Michael, and Monty. That is her main focus, and that is where her main loyalties lay. The rest of them, I can't tell you because they're all over the damn place. I've never been more confused about what's going to happen than when we didn't have the live feeds. Because everybody is telling everybody else something different. And I don't know who's lying. It's not a clear path to say, okay, she's lying about this or he's lying about that, and they're just covering their bases. Because it's all jumbled in together. I don't know who the hell's working with who at this point. And for me, I don't like that. I kind of like to know where that path is leading. So Thursday night, I think is going to be a surprise to all of us. Because I don't think none of us know where everybody stands, honestly. Michael says, what do we weigh as more important right now? Comp threat or jury threat? And Taylor says comp threat. Because we could easily take out the jury threat if they're not good at comps. Brittany says she agreed. Taylor said, so that's where I am with it. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page for next week. Michael said, yeah, as long as they are both up, Alyssa and Turner will have the votes to do whatever we want. Brittany said she's concerned about Monty and his relationship with Turner. Brittany's been talking about that a lot the last few days. About that time, Monty joins the conversation. So this is the first time the four of them have sat down all week together in the same room. And they were outside at the hammock, but they were all together. He says, the only thing that concerns me is if we take a shot at Turner and miss, he's coming after whoever put him on the block. And then Brittany made a statement that just made me laugh. Because I told y'all, she's been going off the deep end the last 2 days. And nobody knows the reason for it. But she said, it's hilarious that everybody that went home got caught up in the chaos. And that we all have that in common. We don't get caught up in the chaos. Brittany is getting paranoid and promising everybody everything, but she's not getting caught up in the chaos. Like, she is literally, I don't know what has happened. Michael said it started after she came out of the DR. So I don't know what questions they were asking her in the DR that has all of a sudden got her paranoid. And she's right back to the Brittany we saw the first week when they were doing the backstage pass thing. She's talking to everybody, promising everybody everything just to keep her safe. People are going to talk. They're going to compare notes. And your ass is going to be out. But Michael says he has no idea what's going on with her. Brittany tells Taylor if they have a final two, she was looking at Monty and Turner, and she said, if they have a final two, we're screwed. And Taylor asked if she and Michael think so. And she said, she waited a long time to answer, but then she said, I do, but I don't know that Michael feels that way. And Taylor said, what is going on that makes you think that? And Brittany said, it's just when I talked to Turner, he just gave me the feeling he was acting as if he was really close to Monty. She said he was asking a lot of questions about Big Brochella. Brittany said, I talked to him every once in a while and kind of played it down. Brittany said he talked about him and Monty being tight because the whole founding members of the leftovers, I always want them to say cookout. The founding members of the leftovers. Brittany said, that was an alliance and he doesn't have Kyle now. And Brittany said, they have to realize it would not make sense for either of their games to go to the end with each other. Brittany says that if they take a shot at Michael and miss, that her and Taylor are going to be the casualties. So she's saying if they go after Michael and they can't get Michael, then you and I are going to be the casualties of that. And I don't think so at this point. I think if they get a shot to go after Michael, they will. But if Brittany, Taylor, and Alyssa end up on the block and any of them go home, it's not a casualty being a part of Michael's group. It just so happens that the guys are working together. If that happens, at this point, I don't have a clue. Monty tells Turner that Brittany is playing both sides. He tells Turner that he's Brittany's target. And if she gets HOH, she's putting Turner up. He doesn't mention Taylor at all. Now, Michael, Taylor, and Brittany were the ones over there talking about all this. Monty was over there with them. But Brittany and Taylor were both talking just as much about getting Turner out as the other one was. As a matter of fact, they were the only ones talking just about. But Monty didn't say anything about Taylor. He's putting all the blame on Brittany. Turner asked what Michael said, and Monty said he plays neutral. Monty said Brittany was using this as a ploy, so we need to get HOH next week and get her out. Targets are changing. They're changing every minute, it seems like. Monty said Brittany's the driving force for it all. Monty and Taylor talked, and he asked her if Brittany was acting different towards her. And she said, not a whole lot different. And he says, well, you know, you think it would be easier with less people in the house? He's like, but I think it just makes everybody more paranoid because they see who's talking to who. And you really can't get any time alone. And he said, it just makes me paranoid. Taylor said, she's nervous about you and Turner. And Monty says, I have no problem putting Turner up. Monty said, she needs to check Brittany. He says, if she doesn't tell you about the conversation she had with Turner, then I'm telling you she's running amok with everyone. Well, then Monty and Turner talk. And Monty said that Taylor just told me that Brittany is paranoid, that we're working together. He said she just wants all of us to go after each other. Monty says Michael's already suspicious of her, and Taylor has to see Brittany's acting differently. And then Monty and Taylor talk again. This is like a ping pong or tennis match. Monty and Taylor talk again. Taylor says, I just don't want to get burned by the people that I trust, which is you and Brittany. Monty said, that's why I came to you when I heard all this stuff about Turner and Brittany. And if she hasn't shared any of that with you, that seems awful sketchy to me. Monty said, problem is, she's not a great target because she hasn't won in very many comps. That's her saving grace. And Monty said, but her wanting us to do things that benefit her is what she's hoping for. Taylor said, would you still take a shot at Michael given the chance? And Monty said it's all about the timing, and I would feel stupid not to have tried to take that shot if I had it. And Taylor said she wouldn't hold it against him if he did. She told him if he does, she'll protect him the following week. Taylor says she found out some more information about Direfest, and she couldn't share that information until Terrence was out. Taylor said, it's weird for Brittany to be so gung-ho to get Turner out, and yet she tries to make a final two with him. She said, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's bizarre. And Taylor said, she's been more distant towards me. And Monty said, yeah, she told Turner that she couldn't trust you anymore because you and Taylor were getting close. Monty says, Brittany is just telling everybody what they want to hear to get her by and not to become a target next week. Michael and Turner talk. Turner says, Monty filled me in on the convo downstairs. Michael said, it sounds like Brittany must be panicked about something, but I haven't got to talk to her yet, so I don't know what has freaked her out so bad. Oh, Michael says, if Alyssa does win at HOH, do you think that would help to go to her and tell her that Brittany told us about the Girls Alliance and that Brittany's talking behind her back? Do you think that she would think differently and put Brittany up? Turner said he thinks that she would be receptive to that. Then Turner asked Michael if he knew what Taylor would do if she won HOH. He said, I think for sure she'd put me up. And I don't know who she would put next to me, and that's the scary thing. And Michael said, I feel like she would want her big TV moment, so she would probably put me and you up. Michael said, I just don't know what's got into Brittany to make her so paranoid. Michael said he hasn't got a chance to talk to Brittany today to see where she is. He said he didn't expect Brittany to lose it like this and to try to work with everyone. He said maybe that she sees that Terrence is going home and Terrence is the only one left in the house that Brittany feels like she can win against. So maybe her seeing him go home this week is kind of messing with her head. Michael talks about Taylor, and he says, she gets really flustered during the comps, and she makes mistakes. He said, I was watching her during the tiny house, and he's like, every time she dropped something, you could just see that she was getting more and more frustrated, so therefore she was making more mistakes as she went along. So they're banking on the fact that Taylor will basically just lose it herself. Turner says he is sure he'll have another conversation with Brittany this week. He said, I'm sure she's not done with me yet, so I'll let you know if she talks to me again. Michael and Monty and Turner talk, and Monty says, now that we know what Brittany is doing, what do we want to do with all this? Michael says, Terrence will definitely put two of us up. So for sure, for my game, I want Terrence out. And Monty said, yeah, he did say that he would put up Hugh and Turner. Michael, because of the stuff, him sitting on the information with Kyle. And then Turner, he feels like hasn't had his back since they came in from Direfest. So he feels like he betrayed him. They said if Alyssa won, she would probably put up Taylor and Monty. But I don't see that. I don't see her putting up Taylor at this point. I think Alyssa is really, regardless of whether the other two girls are all in, I think Alyssa is all in for the three girls to be at the end. So I don't see her putting up either one of the girls. It would be two of the guys. At least that's what I'm thinking at this point. Like I said, who the hell knows? Everything is so crazy. Michael said that if Alyssa's thinking about putting the guys on the block, that he thinks that Turner can go to her and give her this information about Brittany, and then that way she would only put one of the guys on the block. The other two would still be the deciding votes. Whereas Terrence, he doesn't have that. If Terrence wins HOH, Terrence is going to do whatever the hell he wants to because nobody's going to be able to talk him into anything. Monty said the bottom line, every one of them would put at least one of us up. So the only thing that we can do to secure our future next week is for me or Turner to win HOH. And remember, Michael can't play. He also tells the guys that Taylor's feeling weird about Brittany and the way that Brittany is acting. And about that time, out comes Taylor, so he couldn't finish the conversation. She stays out there with him for a few minutes and she goes back inside. Monty said, Brittany is really going rogue. And Michael said, yeah, I just don't understand what happened. It feels like backstage all over, the backstage twist all over again. He said, I have no idea what happened to freak her out all of a sudden. Michael said, also, I know the top 5 is coming, and I don't think we're supposed to talk about it, but it starts the financial part. Now, I've heard them make reference to this over the last few years on the live feeds. And from what I can determine, that if you make the top 5, that's the highest tier money you can get paid. So I think, I know that if you make it to jury, you get paid. If you don't make it to jury, I don't think you get anything. But if you make it to jury, you get paid. But if you make it the top 5, you get a higher tier pay for all the days that you were in the house. So that's why Jasmine was so adamant about making it to the top 5. She wanted that top 5, I think it's called a stipend, I'm not sure. Exactly. But that top 5 money. So I don't know what the difference is as far as the money, but every year somebody talks about this. So he thinks that they're getting closer to that top 5, and that may be what's getting to Brittany. You know, she's wanting to make it to the top 5. Hey, good Lord. I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning because they weren't doing anything. Nothing was going on. Everything's gravy. I go to bed. All kinds of freaking conversations broke out. So I've been on the computer most of the day today getting caught up. Turner said, so if we win HOH, who should we put up for a target next week? And Monty said, that's going to be tough for me. He said, it would be Alyssa, but I almost feel like Brittany would be the person less likely, should she not go home, to come back and bite me in the butt. So they're saying out of everybody in the house, you know, they'd be afraid to put Turner up because if he came back down, he'd come after them. They're not worried about Brittany coming after anybody. So Monty says that would be the first person that I would put on the block. And he says, just due to her competitions. He said, but it will show some cards. And Turner said, we're going to show cards no matter what. Whatever happens Thursday night, cards are going to be shown for somebody. He said, so I say we just stick to the plan. Turner said, for me, it would be Taylor, but I can go both ways. Turner said, I also feel like you two have sway with Taylor and Brittany to only put up one of us in case they get HOH, and we would still be good. So that ended the overnight feeds. Today has been slow up until about an hour ago when they started having conversations again, but I've got so much on this video, I thought I'm going to cut it off here. Go back, and I'll give you all the overnight feeds tonight, tomorrow. I honestly feel like, after listening to last night's stuff, if Brittany goes on the block again, Michael's not going to save her. He's irritated with the way she's acting, throwing everybody under the bus, going rogue, telling Taylor to leave the room so she could talk to Michael and doing sketchy stuff like that. And I think Michael is just aggravated with her at this point and sees that it might be time for her to go to jury. So this morning you see Brittany and Alyssa outside. They were losing the yard today, I think at noon. So all of them pretty much said, oh, we got to get out in the backyard last night and stay till this morning. And then the ones that didn't do that were out in the yard first thing this morning. Alyssa's talking to Brittany, and Alyssa says that she wants the women to go to the inn. She said, we haven't had 2 women sitting at the inn. Brittany tells her there was discussion of keeping Terrence and voting her out. But it wasn't me and Taylor. So you take that for what it's worth. But just know there was some heavy discussion about it. So she's letting Alyssa know that Turner and Monty are ready to vote her out. She says, I just need you to be aware, and we really need to win HOH to make sure that the guys don't take us out. And Alyssa said she's not surprised. At the end of the day, Monty and Turner have each other's back, and everybody in the house knows it. Alyssa said, Kyle told me they had each other. Brittany tells Alyssa to watch what she says to Turner because he slips up. She said, I was talking to him the other night, and he just talked and talked and talked and talked. And I was like, well, thank you for confirming to me that you and Monty have a final too. Turner never said that. Turner never even alluded to that. Brittany has lost her mind. And I have a feeling, in this double, that it may very well be her butt that goes home. The next conversation is between Monty and Terrence. And Monty tells Terrence that Taylor's biggest thing with him is him trying to keep Kyle over her last week. And let's stop and think about this. It wasn't just him trying to keep Kyle last week. He tried to keep Daniel. He tried to keep Nicole. But every time that Taylor's been on the block, whoever was sitting next to her Terrence has made it his mission to campaign for them, to try to get Taylor out of the house. So it wasn't just last week with Kyle. And Terrence said, it's like herd mentality. No one thinks for themselves. They follow one person and do what they tell them to do in the game. And I just don't understand this about this game. And Monty says, it's just what's convenient. Now, that statement in itself is not funny, but I found the irony in it, and it actually made me laugh. Because if you remember, they were calling the other side the convenience store. So when Monty said that, that was the first thing that popped into my head. And I was like, I wonder if he intended that. He probably didn't even cross his mind, but it crossed mine. Alright, that's about all I have for this video. I will be back tomorrow. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below and tell me what you think. Have any of you figured out what the hell is going on in this house right now? Because I haven't. I'm so confused. I can't wait till Thursday night now. But that's all I have for you guys tonight. Don't forget to comment and share. And until next time, as always, much love.